So I'm Em McGowan. I'm a life coach. I'm a certified Ho'oponopono practitioner. I've also done my advanced Ho'oponopono, and I'm also an advanced sacred freedom technique practitioner, which is something that I think Gary will be very interested in. It's an amazing thing. It's where you bring together tapping and Ho'oponopono. It's an amazing thing. It can help you with your Ho'oponopono results. But for today, we're just going to have a look at the basics and how to apply Ho'oponopono to health, or to our health and well-being. So I wanted to just share my story for those who don't know it. In 2017, I had a stroke. I lost my health, my sight, my job. I became photophobic. I lost my income. I lost my home, and I lost my driving license because I couldn't see. So it was a bit of a hard time for me. Now, I ended up being really, really depressed because I ended up in emergency accommodation, and it was just everything seemed to be happening at the same time. And because of the depression, I become really ill. And if that was life, I really didn't want it. I ended up being taken to hospital for dehydration, and I ended up having carers that came to my home to help look after me. And I'd gone from being an independent single mum to being just feeling useless. Now, it was one of the carers who helped inspire me and helped turn my life around, because they taught me the Invictus poem. And it was something that Nelson Mandela used. And it was the last words in the poem that stuck by me. I am the master of my soul. I am the captain of my ship. I'd started to then find new, more positive ways to look at things. And I found the inspirational film Invictus, which is absolutely amazing. And I started to think about how to spend my life and my time more positively, and what could I do? So it wasn't, before I was thinking, what can't I do? And I started thinking, well, what can I do? And I started going through Netflix, YouTube, and trying to find out, what can I do? How can I find a way of making health and how to get better more accessible? So to jump along quickly, I pass a few years, I ended up doing a Ho'opono ceremony with friends of mine, and that introduced me to Ho'oponopono. The ceremony was amazing, and I let a lot of stuff go. Now, that was a Ho'oponopono ceremony that wasn't like we'd experienced with Dr. Joe Vitale or Dr. Hugh Len or Matt Dixon. And ever since then, that mixed with so many other things, I started to retrain. So I'd gone from being a bodyguard, which is my old trade, a close protection officer, and I went to becoming a life coach, which is quite a change. I was still taking care of people, but I started studying the body mind. I started looking at new ways of how to apply things in my life to help improve my health and wellness. So now I live on my own land in Portugal, no longer in the UK. I have my own income. I can see you. I can see you without my glasses. I can use my hands, which is brilliant. I can draw, I can write. If you see some of my drawings on Self-Help by the Spoonful, you'll see that. If you follow us on Ahimsa Food Forest, you'll see that we take our time and effort now, and we take care of the earth, and we have lots of animals. So it's just amazing. And you too don't have to do anything other than be yourself. You too can heal your life, and you can heal yourself. You can bring yourself back from absolutely anything. and the only thing that can stop you ever becoming a better version of yourself is you. So I'm just gonna shift. There we go. So it's all about the Ho'oponopono for health. How do we apply 4 phrases and change our life around? Because changing our life around is easy to say, it's certainly not easy to do. So let's have a look at this and see if we can do it together. Ho'oponopono, for those who aren't sure what it is, it translates as ho'o means to make and pono means right. So Ho'oponopono means to make things double right or bring them back into balance. There is one rule and one rule only with Ho'oponopono, and that is it's all about you. It's not about anyone else. It's all about you. Ho'oponopono is the practice of witnessing or identifying our thoughts and taking 100% responsibility for our thoughts so we can let them go and return to 0. 0, for those who don't know it, means pure love. Oh, cool, Lewis. You've been doing it since 2016. Awesome. So many people forget the importance of putting themselves first. And that's really important with Ho'oponopono. It's not putting out anyone else in front of us. It's remembering that we matter and we come first. And when we live our lives in the shadow of who we think we should be, we forget who we really are. We become trapped in our roles. For me, I was trapped in, I'm disabled, I'm partially sighted, I can't see. I was a single mum, only I felt like a useless single mum. You know, I no longer had a job. I felt like I was just unemployed, and all these things made me feel absolutely terrible. When we think we are just our roles, we forget who we are. We forget, we become a I am this, I am that. We forget that deep down, underneath the I am, we are not our roles, we are our souls. Now, we're always fighting our perspective, which tells us that these roles confine us. We think that we can't. Being told, well, you're blind, you're partially sighted, you know, you can't do this. Well, do you know what? I learned how to get around that. We believe we're not enough. I believe because my hands didn't work. Well, my right hand, it didn't work. I thought I wasn't enough. I wasn't good enough to be able to do things. I needed to see past that barrier. I needed to see past the fact that I was not disabled in every area of my life. You know, I could do so many things. I needed to believe in myself and believe that I was enough. When we don't believe we're enough, we don't believe that we're worth it, or we feel trapped by our role, we get so frustrated because we feel like we can't, and we feel like we should do something better or something different, and we feel like we have to be something other than ourselves. And then that builds up the resentment inside us, and we hate ourselves, and we hate so much of so many things. And that resentment inside us it doesn't help. It just makes us ill. Bitter doesn't make us better. We create bullshit excuses in our lives that keep us trapped in our story. So I'm disabled, I'm not capable of doing this, this, and this. Well, actually, that was just my bullshit excuse. And I'm sure that in your life, the roles that you play in your life, there is so much that you can see that actually you're so much deeper than that role. You're so much more than what you're allowing yourself to be. Now, when we feel trapped and we're stuck in what we think we should be, someone's partner, someone's mother, whatever, it can result in our behavior damaging us in mentally and physical ways, because we're looking for substitutes for our happiness and quick fixes. So rather than deal with looking at who I am below my role, I'm just going to drink and forget about it. I'm just going to numb the pain of not actually being allowed to be me anymore. And I'm just going to find my happiness somewhere else. Maybe I'll forget about it by drinking. Maybe I'll look for some highs out there, have plenty of sex, go and look for a quick fix, do a bit of gambling, see if I can get a bit of money, spend my time scrolling on Facebook, feeling, oh, woe is me, throwing myself a pity party, or sitting there and pretending that I live in a different reality and living on my games or something like that. Now, before I had my stroke, one of the things that I wasn't doing is realizing who I was, and rather than looking at the reality of the situation I was in, I was working 108 hours a week. I was so well and truly exhausted, but I didn't allow myself time to stop and think and just take myself back to center. When we do things like this, we end up having anxiety disorders. We end up burning out. We only have so much energy. We end up having nervous breakdowns. We end up having autoimmune diseases, and we end up being more susceptible to catching illness. We end up catching all sorts of diseases and illnesses which affect us in our life. I want to tell you a fact, and this is a very recent fact actually, but over 90% of illness and disease, including cancer, actually originates from stress. And this is because stress actually shuts down the immune system. For anyone who's not sure about what I'm saying or needs some extra information to back up this, I have all the science. Just PM me and I'll get you all the bits and pieces that you need so you can see the truth in what I'm saying. That over 90% of illness is caused and originates through stress. In our bodies, a threat is a threat, and our body does not distinguish between a thought or a physical threat. To us, the thought of the threat and a physical threat can end up being just the same. No worries. You can catch us. We'll be pre-recorded. Don't worry, darling. So when stress and threats are high, our sympathetic nervous system is engaged and our bodies go into fight or flight, which shuts down our immune system. So you know how it is, something happens. It might be something crazy like you just spill your cup of tea, you've got a hot drink or your dinner and you spill it on yourself. In that instant, your body goes into fight or flight. It can happen if we're out and we see a dog running towards us. Yet again, our body's going to fight or flight. It can happen when we are worried about bills and all of a sudden a brown envelope comes through the letterbox and you go, oh, it could be a bill, or it could be a debt letter or something like that. And at which point our heart rate rises through the roof and we are in a high anxiety situation. We can turn this right round by taking 100% responsibility for our thoughts and reframing them. Because when we start to relax, there is such a lower amount of cortisol, and our our parasympathetic nervous system gets engaged automatically. Our parasympathetic nervous system is, sorry, someone's joining. So our parasympathetic nervous system is actually how our bodies relax. It resets our body's harmony. It brings us back into balance. So if you think of it like a seesaw, our body's seesaw, if everything's cool, everything's hunky-dory, then our parasympathetic nervous system, the chemicals are high and everything's cool and everything's brilliant. And then all of a sudden something happens and the stress, and as the stress, our sympathetic nervous system comes up. Now, when that stress goes away, the parasympathetic nervous system goes back up and our sympathetic nervous system drops back down. But if that stress carries on and continues, or another stress happens and it builds up, then our sympathetic nervous system goes right high, and that is when it causes some real issues. Now, when we rewire our brains through reframing our thoughts, we're basically similar to EFT. We pair our old memories with new positive memories. This is what transmutes our old stories. We need to stop blaming people, stop blaming our environment, stop blaming things, because it's a waste of time and energy. It's not, you know, I had a stroke. It wasn't the stroke's fault I couldn't do things. I lost my eyesight. It wasn't my eyesight's fault. You know, I could make a lot of excuses for a lot of things instead of taking responsibility for my own health. It's about seeing what we can do, taking responsibility for the situation that we're in, and taking responsibility and saying, do you know what can I do about the problem? And something that we can do is apply the Ho'oponopono. One sec. By saying I'm sorry, I'm acknowledging and accepting what I did in the past was wrong, and I'm willing to take 100% responsibility for my health and my well-being. Please forgive me. We can ask ourselves for forgiveness. We're saying to ourselves, you know, I did the best I could at that time, using the information that I had available to me and the resources which were available to me. We all do our best based on the circumstances that we're in. We can't do better, and we need to stop beating ourselves up for that. We can be our own worst critic. It's time to forgive ourselves and let go, because when we don't know, we don't know. We can choose to love ourselves. I love you. I love me, and I accept me anyway. I know that I mess up and I love me anyway. It doesn't matter that I mess up. It means it's okay, and I love me anyway. And you know what? I love me, and that's what's important. We transmute our memories by saying that I love me, or I love you. And we're transmuting the memories, and we're detaching the I am from the limiting beliefs, which is the bullshit stories that we're telling ourselves. And we're saying it doesn't matter what's been, we're sorry, we still love us, and we still accept the way it was anyway, and we're going to take responsibility, and we're going to change that. And we're saying thank you. I thank you. I am so grateful because these issues have been brought into my consciousness. Information has been brought into my awareness, which means I can clean on this stuff, and I can now let them go. So I can see beyond what was and what my previous beliefs were, and I can start looking at cleaning on them, and so I can let them go. Now, the science behind this, what I'm telling you, says, as we clean our memories, we reframe our thoughts and learn to let go. our body chemistry changes, and that's creating, when it changes, it creates the perfect environment for generating healthy cells, which is absolutely awesome. And that's how we can get better. We want to regenerate all our cells and make them healthy again, get rid of that old data, get rid of the old memories. The body conceives what the mind believes. Through Ho'oponopono, in our daily lives, our bodies will produce more growth hormones, which is the bit that means that's the bit that's going to help regenerate the cells. Excuse me. It's going to produce more dopamine and oxytocin. We're going to feel happier, as more vasopressin. And this is the opposite, the complete opposite to what happens during the body's stress response when it, during fight and flight. We get the total opposite of that. So it's so important to apply the Ho'oponopono, not just for 5 minutes a day, but throughout our day, throughout our lives. And to be able to apply the statement successfully, we have to remember, apart from the fact, the one rule, it's all about me. So for you, it's all about you. We're not doing it for anyone else. We're calming the mind and returning to center, focusing on the issue that we wish to clean on, and repeating the 4 affirmations. I call them affirmations because to me, they're more than statements, they're more than phrases, they're affirmations. The order that we say these in is really not important. So I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, I thank you. So this is the time where I want to get you to do a bit with me, and we're going to do this together. So first, I want you to bring the problem to mind. So whatever's frustrating you at the moment that's in the forefront of your mind, just sit with that for a moment and allow it. And now, sorry, I'll just get a drink. Now, usually I do square breathing, but there's more than one way to do these things and to take ourselves back to center. So I want to teach you a special little breath exercise that I've designed myself, and it's really effective. In fact, it's taken over a lot of things for me. And now, rather than inhale and count backwards from 10, or rather than apply the square breathing, I'm now doing this breathing exercise. All you have to do is focus on your breathing and breathe naturally. So just notice your breathing. And can you notice there's a pause between the in-breath and the out-breath, and the in-breath and the out-breath? As we inhale fully, we naturally pause, and then the out-breath just follows. It's like a whole little circuit. It's all pretty automatic, but when we notice it, it's like, wow, and this is happening. Our bodies are doing this all on their own. So we've not got to force it. We've just got to be. So as we're inhaling fully, we pause, and then the out breath. And then we breathe out. And as our lungs are emptying, there's the pause again. And then our bodies just naturally breathe back in. So hopefully you're all concentrating on the breath, and the exercise goes like this. As we inhale, as we're breathing in, we say, I am the breath. Notice the pause, and as we breathe out, I am the I. Notice the pause, I am the breath. Notice the pause, I am the I. So we're going to do that just for about a minute. So I am the breath, I am the I. I am the breath. 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 I am the I. I hope you're all feeling a lot calmer now. So now we focus on the problem that's forefront in our lives at the moment. Anything to do with your health. I know I'm quite tired, so I'm going to focus on my hand. So focus on whatever it is, your exhaustion, whether it's just your general well-being or if it's some kind of other health issue that you'd like to bring up. Thank you, Lewis. And then if you go to the affirmations, now we're feeling calmer, allow our problem to remain in our head and say out loud or in your head. Now, when we say it out loud, the words carry so much more power. So I am sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. I thank you. Focusing on the problem. So we're not focusing on the problem in someone else, only what we can see in us or seeing them that is also in us. So I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. I thank you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. I thank you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. I thank you. Our original layer has got our original issues got many layers. And as we clean, we're repeating the affirmations. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. I thank you. And each layer of the problem will arise, which allows us to clean on them. And as we clean on them, they're transmuted, they fall away. And we clean on each level, each layer and each area until all the problems dissolve. So as we're starting to clean, we've started with our original problem. And as we repeat, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I thank you, each layer of the problem drops away, leaving a new layer to clean on. So these things don't happen overnight, especially for things like health. But as a new problem arises, that's brilliant. Just clean on that and allow them to drop away in their own time. And remember that we can achieve great health through changing our mindsets, through taking taking responsibility for what we can control in our lives and coming to terms with what we can't control and admitting we're really not perfect. We all make mistakes, and we show gratitude for all in existence and showing ourselves and others unconditional love. So in other workshops, I can teach you about how to Ho'oponopono. I'm going to do another one in 2 weeks. Next week's the circle, same time, same place. So it's the circle. The week after, it's going to be about improving our money flow. We're going to look at energy in Ho'oponopono at another time, balance through Ho'oponopono. I am the I in more details. ancestral imprints and karma and Ho'oponopono, advanced Ho'oponopono, and of course I'm going to start doing some sacred freedom protocol as well. That's right, Lewis. A new problem is always an opportunity to clean. Absolutely. So thank you so much for joining me today. I love you all. So now is question time. If you have any questions whatsoever, pop them in on the chat box and I'll do my best to answer them all for you. And if I am not able to answer them for you right now and I need to think, then I will reply to you through private message or send me a message on Messenger. Rajni, sorry. So has anyone else got any questions? Oh, thank you, Cindy. Thank you, Sakshi. I'm really sorry that I don't pronounce names correctly. Thank you so much for joining me. Everyone here, everyone, there's nothing that you cannot do if you put your mind to it. I can see now, I can walk now, I can drive now. And it's only thanks to being able to be sitting and looking at myself with that loving kindness. We're all capable, all capable. All it takes is that shift in perception, and we can let the bad stuff go and breathe ourselves a new story. I'm really surprised that no one's had any questions and everyone's so grateful. I'm really grateful too. Thank you.
I think I have just turned my microphone on.
I think you're correct. Did you have a question?
I've no more of I don't know how you call it, more of a statement really, not an affirmation. I've been doing this all week since our last session last Saturday, and I do feel a lot better, and it is like an onion. It's taking some shifting, but it's working.
Yeah, like an onion, it can make you cry as well. Be aware of that, folks.
Yeah,
as we allow ourselves to be aware and experience these issues and these feelings, that it transmutes them, and they just go. Sometimes we forget to feel. We stop ourselves feeling. And when we stop ourselves feeling, we stop ourselves healing. And many times we can become numb in our lives and not allow ourselves to feel and experience things in their beauty. And by allowing ourselves to feel what we need to feel, instead of going, no, I won't cry, or I won't feel that, or I'm not feeling that, or that's really awful, why did that thought come, I'm not allowing myself to feel that. No, we need to embrace all the feelings and just be aware of what's coming up for us and allow that feeling to exist and give ourselves love for it anyway, because then these things will go, they will drop away like the skins of the onion, they will fall off. So it's important to allow yourselves to feel so that you can heal. And that is another reason that why today I said we bring our problem to mind and we think about it, and then we'll look at the breath work, and then we'll bring our feelings, problems to mind again, because by that way we've got a higher chance of transmuting whatever was there, because we're reframing it and we're pairing it up. The bad stuff, we're then giving it something good to match up with and bringing back balance.
Yeah, it's very
how did you find the Sacred Freedom Protocol?
Now I've been doing a lot of things, so can you just explain? Oh, I haven't done that.
No,
I didn't do. No, I haven't done that. I've just refreshed the affirmations and thought about them, because I can actually remember all 4 of them now. So I've been doing them like at work when I've had 2 minutes, or I've had to step away and go and stand in the, in a private area and do them there, because someone at the counter is seriously stressing me out. So that's helped a lot.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, it is. And other times when I've needed to, I've needed this, so it's really helped. And I can just sit down quietly and just say these things myself. So it's really helped lowered my stress levels.
That's brilliant. I'm so glad that it's been so positive for you. And you've been doing it, what is it, 2 weeks now?
Yes, I have.
So I'll be popping the recording of this if you want to take notes. Like I say, any questions or anything like that, if anyone would like any information, just message me. I'm always there. I can't always answer straight away, but I promise you I will get back to anyone with any questions as soon as I possibly can. Thank you all for joining us today. Namaste.